Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Uh-oh, the red button just went on.
Oh no, it's on.
The red button's on. So
It's on.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John Hiley with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast.
And it's already getting hot in here.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's getting hot because we have Amanda Koss on here with her husband, Woody Koss, who keeps walking by the camera in a pair of shorts that really shouldn't be worn by a man.
They're like Speedos, but they look like jean shorts.
So are them like cut-off jean Speedos? I mean, or are they actually Speedos that just look like jeans?
No, it's a Speedo with a jean print.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Speedo with a jean print. Wow. You know?
He's going to be wearing them when they come up to the Dents for Kids.
So he just has that kind of laying around or something?
Yeah, he brings them out, special occasion.
Work uniform.
Nice. So anyhow, yeah, that's that's Woody for you. He keeps appearing and disappearing and stuff like that. And yeah, this is just Jesus. You know what? I'm gonna have to record this. I'm gonna have to record this. Screenshot time, boy.
Looking down.
All right. Yeah, you sound a little jumbled up there on that one, Woody. But Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself. And do you have a role in the company, or do you just I know that you have an advertisement. You do a lot of advertisement, and you got an agency or something to that nature. But tell us a little bit about it, because I love the logos. I see Woody's logo in the background there. I know you designed it. I see you designed his truck, and you've worked on a lot of other dent technicians.
And their van, too.
You know, the
van.
stuff, yeah. And all of it looks amazing. That's coming directly from you. Tell us a little bit about your part in the Dead on Dents, and then also tell us a little bit about what you got going on with the.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. So yeah, I mean, basically, I'm a graphic designer by trade. I went to school for that. I went to Florida State, go Noles, and I got my degree in design. And so yeah, Woody's kind of taken advantage of that. Obviously, when he got started with his own business, I designed his logo and I did his website for him. Any kind of advertisement he's ever needed, or Facebook ads, things of that nature. Advertising, and then it just kind of blew up. I think someone had kind of heard from him that I did his logo, and they said, well, hey, could you do one for me? And then it just kind of took off from there. Several people had said, oh, your wife does graphic design, could she do a logo for me? And that was probably about a year ago, and since I've done, I don't know, like maybe 30 or more PDR business logos, and I've done a few price guides and a couple websites and things like that. So it's been kind of cool. Woody, obviously, it's nice having his input because he knows the business and knows, what dent guy might be looking for or want in the logo. So he always kind of gives me his input on what he thinks. And so yeah, it's been kind of cool. But for myself, I do have my own design business. And I have, Woody's making faces at me. I have several clients that I just keep on a regular basis. And then a lot of one-off work where I just do logos or, websites. And so, yeah, I love it. For his business, I play the role of basically doing all of the paperwork things he doesn't want to manage or can't manage because he's just busy. Any of the tax work, keeping up with expenses and bookkeeping. Basically all of those tasks. And recently, just because we now have the tool business, which is kind of my baby too, it's kind of taken up so much of my time that I've actually had to turn away some of the design business. A couple PDR guys have approached me recently to do some logos and stuff, but it's just I have not had enough time, just with everything going on in the tool business and with Woody's business, just trying to keep up the end of the year. And down here in Florida, November, December, January, this is our busy season. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool because, other parts of the country, these are the worst seasons because everybody leaves and goes to Florida, right?
Exactly,
I can't tell you how many people I know that do that, especially older folks. I mean, they just can't handle
What
the
are
cold
they
weather.
called? Aren't they called
They're called snowbirds.
Snowbirds?
Yeah, snowbirds.
Snowbirds.
Yeah. I actually know quite a few people that live in Florida for more than 50% of the year because you guys don't have any state tax. And as long as they are there for more than 50% of the year, they don't have to pay, that would be their primary residence, which is pretty cool. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Isn't it interesting how like you dent guys just like to dump the load of what you guys don't like to do, and you're like, here you go, wife. This is what you guys get to do.
You should just say dump the load.
Yeah. I thought that was going somewhere else, and I was like, us dent guys do like to dump the loads on, and then, oh, wait, no, she's talking bad. She's
Several different loads.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm glad Woody picked that up because I thought it, but then I was like
You just never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Ah. There's so many ways I could have went with that too. It's like, yeah. But
no, it's true though. It's like they don't, when they start their business, all they think about is, I'm going to run my own business and be my own boss. But when it comes to the nitty gritty of the business, they're like, nope, can't handle it. Don't want to do it. Don't have time. Or
they're like, this gives me a headache. Here you go, honey. This is what you get to do.
hey, she volunteered for that.
That's true though.
What he says, I volunteered. I technically didn't volunteer.
She did.
But
100%.
and I don't really have the right, personality for it either, because I'm more of artistic, I guess, like, how you're either what is it called? Right brain, left brain kind of thing. So I'm really not that organized.
Right. Now, have you guys ever thought about maybe like hiring a CFO or something like that?
Yeah, we his aunt helps us out a lot. She's an accountant, but we haven't really talked about hiring someone on to really take over that. I have mentioned it several times, but he doesn't take me seriously.
Yeah, there's actually some lady that I know, and like she starts at like $300 a month, and she manages everything as far as the QuickBooks and what's going in, what's going out, does all of that stuff, the end of the month reports, things like that. So if anybody's interested in that, hit us up. I'll send her information to you. But that's just what she does. She's not even an accountant. She doesn't want to be an accountant. She basically gets everything prepared to hand it to the accountant at the end of the year. And that's something we thought about, but we're too much of control. For us, that's like, it's like she wouldn't let go of that type of control. I know that.
No.
So although she may complain a little bit about me giving her all the work, there was a time that we were talking about handing it over to somebody else, and no, she's not going to hand her baby over to somebody else.
It's mine.
You know what I mean?
It's my precious.
Precious.
Yeah, even though it can be a headache sometimes.
And the Dents for Kids I'm not sorry, not the Dents for Kids, but the Mobile Tech Expo having you there, Amanda. And we always talk about that, like how like you're actually cooler than Woody. And on top of that, we were talking about how cool your brother was too. He's a really, really cool, interesting dude. And let me tell you, what did you think this year? I mean, never really asked you, like, did you have a good time at the Mobile Tech Expo?
Man, I had a great time. And my brother, like you said, he loves it. He's an extrovert. Like, he can talk to anybody and everybody. He's going to come again this year just because he's just a natural salesperson. he can like connect to someone on an individual basis and then just kind of like make a sale. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I had a good time just kind of getting to meet everybody and putting faces to names that I've heard of for so long. And I really enjoyed it. And also just because I really enjoy the tool business a lot. And I find it interesting, and I like selling it. So obviously making money. But
this year, John said that we get to go to Cheetah's. Remember how?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember how last year, like, I
Yeah.
wanted to go, and he was being the party pooper, the
Like
little
Woody
stinker.
was begging me to go to its name is Cheetah's, right?
No.
Woody?
Right?
No, it's something else.
It's not Cheetah's?
That's our code word because we don't want everybody showing up there.
Mangoes.
Mangoes.
Oh, mangoes. Okay. I just thought everybody's
wait,
Cheetahs.
But don't they have the cheetah vest though?
Yes, they do
Okay.
have that.
Okay, that's probably why I thought it was called
Right,
Cheetahs.
right. Because Woody told us some elaborate story about how he went in there and it was some fancy place.
Got a cheetah vest.
Yeah, and they were pouring big drinks, and he wound up with a cheetah's vest and was chased out of there by
His
somebody.
name was Eric.
His name was Eric. I don't want to ask what was traded for that cheetah
Eric.
vest.
So we're all going to Mangoes this year.
Just a tip.
That's funny. That's funny. So we're looking forward. We got Amanda and Woody coming up to the Dents for Kids charity this year.
Mm-hmm.
And geez, if you guys think the Mobile Tech Expo is fun, we're going to have a killer time because she actually planned everything out.
Yes.
She's an organizer, a planner, all that stuff. So we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to hanging with you guys out there. You guys are going to actually get to see and hear anybody who's there or probably sees the video, me and Woody sing a epic duet.
Mm-hmm.
And Woody claims that you should bring an extra set of underwear, men and women, because everybody in the whole place is going to wet themselves. Actually, I think he said to bring a bigger box of like underwear to keep at the bar for everybody. So that way
Some
we.
maxi pads.
I'm going to go out and buy some underwear.
I really
some
don't know how a
men and
guy's going to wet
some
himself,
men's
but
and women's underwear, and I'll have a bag. One will be for the
Bucket
guys,
wet.
one will be for the women, and we'll bring them to the karaoke bar, and I'll be like, "Do you guys need a pair of these?"
we will have to buy a giant box of undies for this. We should go to the Goodwill and just buy a bunch of like old ones.
Oh no, we
You can't
do
sell them
that.
there.
Oh, they can't sell
I tried
underwear
to
there?
buy 'em. No,
They won't sell used drawers. Now, how do you know this, though, is what I'm wondering.
because I tried to buy them.
We'll buy tidy whities and granny panties.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, and you know what? You were doing a lot of the sales there at the Mobile Tech Expo for your tool company. And how did that go?
It was good. The thing is, like, I do a lot of the behind the scenes for the tool company as well. Like any messages that come through, whether it's Facebook or email, I take care of all the orders, and that obviously we're small right now, so I handle all of that kind of stuff. And Woody's basically the face of it. So anyone that was coming to our booth, they just wanted to talk to Woody. Obviously they know him, and maybe they probably didn't think I knew even too much about the tools or anything having to do with PDR.
Right.
But I tried my best to kind of get out there and do it, but I'm shy. So yeah. It's weird. Oh my
So
gosh.
basically,
You're probably wondering, how in the world?
we've always wondered that, actually. We've always wondered that. And when we met you, we were like, oh, wow, that's the woman for Woody right there. Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like he didn't, as far as Facebook goes, because I know that's where a lot of people obviously know him from or found out about him, but they didn't even know he was married, and they're like, we always thought he was gay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We all thought that.
Yeah. No, I get that.
When he told me he was married, I was like, I need to
Really?
meet this girl. I need to meet Amanda.
Yeah,
And
and
then
when we
when I
met her,
met-
we quickly realized that she was definitely way cooler than Woody.
Yeah.
She's actually one of the coolest people I've ever met. So
Yeah.
you guys are going to come to the Dents for Kids and you get to meet Amanda and Woody.
You guys,
and she knows how to get down.
you guys are cool. I feel like we're like kindred spirits. Like we've only met, once or twice, but we just kind of connect.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah, we're going to rock that shit out, okay? Now I'm telling you, the people who don't come to the Dents for Kids, and I only got a few I can only allow maybe a few more people, but the people who don't come, they're going to be looking at that like, man, I wish I would have jumped on that right away because we're going to be having a good time.
Yeah.
Literally. And another thing, I want to go back to your logos because I really do think that Woody's Dent Company logo and his personal logo is probably two of the coolest logos. And from the moment that I've seen them, I felt that they were two of the coolest logos that I've ever seen developed. And, I mean, how do you come up with the type of, because it's like, if you guys haven't seen this logo, it's called Dead On Dent Tools. And it looks like a sniper, like it's circled around, like it's like a scope snipering on top of it. And I mean, it just screams Dent Guy. I mean, Dent Guys are like guns and, rugged and, well, then there's some other Dent Guys. They don't like me so much, but we got some snowflakes out there too. But the majority are gun-toting, good old American boys.
Yes.
American.
Hell motherfucking yeah.
And I think you captured that.
America.
Like you captured that in a logo. So, I mean, you definitely...
I know when I first seen that logo, I was like, whose logo is that? I was like, I thought it screamed us though too when I seen it. I was just like, yeah.
Now, let me ask you something. When you do all your development, do you do all that through like Adobe and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. Yeah. I used Illustrator primarily just because it's going to be best for everyone in the long run because I provide everyone all of the files that they'll need, whether it's for screen printing or embroidery, whatever they're going to do. I just want to make sure they have the highest quality files, and I think they appreciate that. But it's like, yeah, I just try to listen to what their needs are, kind of figure out a little bit of their story, what their aim is, what they're trying to brand, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because with Dead On Dent Removal, it's a certain image that you're portraying, and I think it's like you guys with the tactical. I just think it's good to have sort of a theme, to brand yourself apart from everyone else. It's hard so many times when you get this, and I don't mean to knock anybody because everyone's doing their thing, but so many times with PDR, you come across so many similar company names that it's really hard to set them apart from another company. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean. And I think even deeper, because that's great when you actually, get into exactly what the technician's going to want to see. So like I said, they're like gun toting, you know what I mean? Good old boy type guys out there. And that's who you're targeting. That's who I'm targeting. And when you go into like a deeper level of marketing, one of the amazing things, let me tell you what I believe to be one of the best branded companies in the world. And I could guarantee you there's no company that's better branded. You could even say Apple. Like Apple is not as...
McDonald's?
No. Apple has not been branded as well as this company because the users of the product will turn against them at a whim. Okay, I'll tell you who that is. That's Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson has branded their company so well that people will fight and die for their product. You go into a bar with a bunch of Harley drivers or Harley bikers and you tell them that Harley Davidson sucks, you're going to get your ass whooped.
Yes.
You go into a little cafe with a bunch of Apple users and you say their iPads suck, they're just going to kind of like boo you out of there and be like, you suck, dude. Bad vibe, Bad vibing me, right? I mean, like they've branded their Harley Davidson has branded their company so well, people will kill you over their product. And I mean, just think about that. Is there any other product out there in the world? Ferrari? No, them guys are going to like throw wine in your face. You don't like my Ferrari? I'm going to put wine in your face, and then maybe get beat up by you afterwards. And I mean, it's just like there's nothing that's as strong branded than that. And I know that I can never even come close to being a Harley Davidson, but that's always what you shoot for, when you do branding in any industry. So not only do you want to connect at that surface level, you want to try to connect at a deeper level. And a lot of that, you want it to become more of a lifestyle.
Right.
So that's my That's my Harley Davidson rant there.
I know you're very passionate about that.
That was very passionate. Yeah.
I don't have a Harley Davidson.
He's got a Harley.
Yeah.
He will kill you.
Hey, Woody, do you have a Harley?
I do.
No, he doesn't. You know he's a bullshitter. You cannot ask him a straight question and get a straight answer.
I was gonna say, because I never see any pictures of you riding it or anything. I was trying to understand.
I'm too busy riding.
Yeah, you guys want to hear something hilarious story? Like, I used to do dent removal work for this guy. He was like a wholesaler, but he did it out of his garage and at his home. So he bought himself one of them tiny. No, but he bought himself one of them tiny little mopeds, that you put your feet up on there, because it was like his part runner. He didn't want to spend a bunch of money. Wholesalers are cheap. So he'd run around town getting parts. He had a little helmet, like a biker's helmet on. And he said that he pulled up and he's seen it ahead of him. A pack of Harleys, dude. Like 10 of them. And he had to pull his scooter into him.
Oh, no.
Hey guys.
Could you? He said that he felt like an inch. He was like, he put it he showed me his hands. I felt this big, like an inch, and he's sitting there with a whole pack of Harleys on his scooter. And so I could picture either Woody on like one of them scooters, or one of them, them tiny little motorcycles. Like the movie Dumb and Dumber, where they rode together. They found that motorcycle.
That wasn't a motorcycle. I think that was just like a little scooter or like a moped. Yeah, moped.
Oh, hey, I got one of them, Woody, if you want to take us some photos with me on it.
I
seriously do.
It's not running right now, though. You got to get that fixed.
I can get it fixed. It's called a jitterbug.
We need to do a photo shoot with me on the back of the bike. You ride.
Yeah. Come on, we'll show them how we do it on our hog, man. We'll call it the hog.
We need to drive that over to karaoke.
Yeah. Oh, that would be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's right around the corner. It's
that would be funny. Hey, so I have a question. So how did you and Woody meet? How did you guys meet?
Well, that is kind of an interesting
It was a Tuesday.
No, it all started with a high school graduation photo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was this was this a photo that you had of him or that he had of you?
No, his parents received my high school graduation announcement.
Our parents were friends outside of high school.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of knew each other growing up.
Yeah. Our dads had a small business together. My parents moved down to Florida when I was a baby, but our parents kept in touch. They're really good friends. So his parents received my high school graduation announcement with my picture in it, and they had stuck it on the refrigerator. And he comes home from school. He was at the Nashville Auto Diesel school at the time, and he came home from school one weekend and was like, "Hey, who's that on the refrigerator?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Amanda." And he's like, "No way," because we probably hadn't seen each other since we were, I don't know, maybe 10 or something.
She just added that fact about that. There was no picture on the refrigerator.
She
was asking about me at her family reunion.
I never asked about you.
And then my dad said, here's her picture, and gave it to me.
No.
That's exactly what happened.
No, never.
So he seen your picture and he was like, hey.
One chasing me.
No, he weaseled his way into getting my phone number from my mom. And she's like, "Fine, I'll give you her number." Gosh, quit bothering me. God. No, but he called me up. I was in the process of moving to Tallahassee to go to school there. And so basically our entire relationship has been long distance. He was going to school in Nashville and he moved back home briefly, but we'd been talking on the phone back and forth. But I knew things were serious knew things were serious because he called me up one day. It was like, yeah, so I'm moving in with your mom and dad. I'm like, what? Moving in with my mom and dad? They're in Florida. You're just moved back home to Michigan. You're trying. He went to school for paint, and he was trying to find a job painting. He's like, no, I'm moving down there. Like, oh shit, like I better figure this out now. Like, let him know, like, if I'm really not interested, so he doesn't like move. Stop, get your ass out of my face. But yeah, so he my dad actually knew somebody in the body shop industry, and they were looking for a painter. They're like, yes, it is a story.
I replied to an ad in the newspaper.
You did not. My dad knew the owner. Okay. Anyway, I was still in school at Florida State, and he moved in with my parents for a short time until he and my brother rented a house together for a little while.
Oh.
But he was painting cars. So yeah, our whole time we dated for about 4 years. And then he proposed on the night of my college graduation.
Aww.
He came up with my parents, and my brother was there, and some of our friends were there at dinner. And yeah, so he proposed then, and we moved down to Fort Myers, where my parents lived for a while, and then we lived in Tallahassee for a little while, and then we moved back down here. But yeah, kind of.
That's cool.
A different story.
No, that's cool. That's really cool.
Woody was
It's so
like
funny
hunting
how-
Amanda.
Yeah. Here's the funny part about that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, you were hunting
Let's hear
Amanda.
it. Let's hear it.
For sure, dude. Well, no, the funny part was, I mean,
My dad
that was
said she asked about me 17 times.
17 times. What's up with that?
You don't-
Dan,
yeah,
actually.
that's
And everybody
it's a
should
little
know his
neat
name's
little
actually
embarrassing
Dan.
after that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You ask maybe once or twice, but 17?
Dan.
That's
No, yeah, and that's another weird thing too, is the whole Dan Woody thing. Obviously, growing up as kids, he was always Dan. Even when we first started dating, he was Dan. He didn't actually get the nickname Woody until he moved down here and he started painting at a body shop down here, and all of the guys there started calling him Woody.
Right.
So that just kind of stuck.
And that's because of his resemblance to Woody on the Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
like a really
There
strong
is a very, very
yeah.
strong resemblance there.
Yeah.
I mean, and somebody picked that up and must have gave him that nickname. And it's so funny, like back in the day when I was a kid, I used to work at the country club, and I was a busboy, and we had a guy in the back who looked like Spanky from the Little Rascals. So all the cooks called him Spanky, right? Well, one day I'm doing some dent removal work, and I walk into this body shop, and there's Spanky. So I walk in there, I'm like, "What's going on, Spanky?" He pulls me off to the side. He's like, "Shh." He's like, hey man." He's like, "Don't say that loud, dude." He's like, "That was more of a country club thing. Like nobody knows me as Spanky around here." And I was like, "All right, Spanky." He was their detailer, so I was like, "All right, Spanky." Well, I was like, "What's your real name again?" He's like, "It's Elijah," and I'm like, I don't know. That's a little tough on the tongue. I'd rather use Spanky. Like Spanky sounds just quick and easy. Spanky, you know. Well, the funniest thing was, like, what do your kids think about you running around with that damn them tight underwear on like that?
Oh my God.
I mean,
I got them a pair too.
I'm sure
Oh.
it is perfectly normal in Europe, but I seen the kids busted in and Woody took off. And
We're
all you see,
actually
all you-
nudist. We only have clothes on for this podcast.
my son would
Always
kill
like,
me.
Daddy, why don't you put some pants on?
Daddy,
Daddy, go put some pants on. He saw this in his underwear. He even told his teacher one time, "My daddy sleeps in his underwear." Oh my God.
I was adopted by my grandparents. So if you could imagine this, my dad, who adopted me, which was my grandfather, was like way older, And there was one night my mom had left town and we had a party. He always slept in his tighty-whities underwear, And there's one night we had this party. He was in town. He was there at the house and my mom was out of town. And there's like 5 of us sitting around a kitchen table and we're doing really scrupulous stuff and drinking, and we're all hammered. He actually walks out in the middle of the night in his tighty-whities in the middle of a party that I'm having at our house, and he looks at 5 or 6 of us sitting at that table, and he says, he's like, I'd take any 3 of you, but there's 5 of you here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you alone. Goes off and uses the restroom and then just walks right back by in his tighty-whities.
Yeah.
I mean, there was dudes there, girls, all that stuff, and he just did it like it was no thing,
That's like one of your favorite stories to tell.
It was
Love that
hilarious. Like
story.
we all just lost it laughing. It almost made the party, It was like, what the fuck just happened there? And so Woody's gonna have to do that when you're how old are your kids?
Mason is 6 and Blake is 4.5.
Okay. So when they start having friends come over and stay the night and stuff like that, Woody's just gonna have to walk around in his tighty-whities and open the door and be like, "Hey, is everything all right in here, kids? You guys like some Kool-Aid or something?
Yeah, at this age.
How's about some popcorn? Oh, everything's
Just sit on
okay?
my lap and I'll tell you a story.
Hold on, guys. Let me pick
on
up
my
this
lap.
mess you guys have in here.
Oh man.
I actually have fun with my son's buddies, man. It's just hilarious because he's at that age where the kids are like so. I don't know. You can say anything to them, and they're all embarrassed. They act like everything's weird, and there's the super cool people, And I'm like, dude, you guys need to come out of your fucking shell, I'm like, you guys are in a shell, and you're covered with, you can't even be yourself, And I'm like telling them, I'm like, and they all look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like this, like, man, that's not cool, man.
They're at the stage where they have to make sure like their hair is
Everything's
perfect.
so perfect.
The clothing has to be perfect. They gotta.
I'm still in that stage.
Do you remember that time I made up that story that I shit myself, and I told them all about it?
Yeah.
That was a good one, man. I told them all that I ate at some place called Chaco's, and they gave me these fresh crab legs, and about halfway out it hit me, and I told them I had to like stand there and like tighten my ass real tight, and I was like, I took one step and just water. I was like fucking water running down the back of my leg, and I was like every step, and I told him I had to call somebody, and he brought me a coat to put around, and I went on this whole story about how I ended up leaving all my clothes in the restroom, and the guy who came and helped me was like a 400-pound dude, so I was walking around in his pants. And I look back and his friends are floored, man. They're like,
They don't know what to say.
they don't know what to say, right?
I think what it was is we asked them. We're like, so have you guys ever shit yourself?
Yeah. So hey, you guys ever shit yourself? And I was like, yeah, I'm good about 2 or 3 times a year.
Their faces were like fire engine red.
Messing with them kids is just so awesome.
Yes. You
Yeah,
love it.
You guys will enjoy that. Now, how old are you two?
I'm 47.
You look awful old
Good.
for your age.
Oh.
Still good.
Might I suggest some Botox, sir? You're getting them crow feet.
Those are crow feet.
That's one thing I ain't never gonna have to worry about.
What?
Caring if I have crow's feet.
Nah, you look good.
You really should.
Really?
You don't have to yell.
And he had to get his face closer to the screen to do that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We need funny
Yeah,
stories.
we need to hear like what's the craziest
my-
the craziest story that Woody's ever put you through?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure there's many
That's really
of them.
hard.
She's going through a scenario of
There
like
is.
150 of them.
No, I'm telling you guys, it is always interesting living with Woody.
Has he
It's just like,
has he ever set you up with a fart?
Oh, wait a minute. We should
yeah.
ask.
Like farted and then blamed it on you in front of a bunch of people?
I mean, he does that with our kids all the time. I can't think of a time in public he's done that.
Wait a minute, Mr. John
So
Hiley.
he's done. I've actually.
Okay.
What's the story?
Yeah.
You got one you want to tell?
No, I mean, I can't necessarily think of one in public. So he's not always anymore. It's been a while. It's been a while since he's asked me to do like a weird Photoshop or something. But like, there's been times where I'm like laying in bed watching a movie or something, and he'll be like, hey, I need you to do something for me. I need you to help me out with something. Like, what? He pulls his pants down. He's like, I just need you to take a picture of my ass. Why? Like, what is going on? He's like, just take a picture of my ass for me. Like, and then I just need a Photoshop favor. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, like, just, and then he'll like ask me to Photoshop something so we can send it to somebody. But yeah, just always random, weird stuff going on. One time, I will say this. Oh my gosh. This time we went to, where were we? On the other coast, visiting your family. And he was drinking all day. He was drinking Jack, I think, which he's like, he's cut off. He's not allowed to drink Jack at all anymore. Never, ever, ever. Bad things happen every time.
Oh.
So we were on the other coast visiting his family. He Jack all day. And we went out to dinner, I think, with his grandma, probably like Golden Corral or something. I don't know. But he like, no, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't Golden Corral, but it was somewhere else. But he like just went missing. We were in the middle of dinner and he was just gone. Well, later on we find him like roaming the parking lot, just roaming around the parking lot. Like, okay, get in the car. We're going back to the hotel, right? We go back to the hotel. He strips down into his like bright red, tidy, like little underwear. It's like walking.
Boxer briefs.
They were not boxer briefs. They were like freaking tidy white, like bright red underwear. He's walking down the hotel hallways and stuff. And then he like makes it back into our room. And I'm like, dude, you just need to like take a shower or something. Like just go to bed. So he's in the shower like forever. I go in there and he's just like laying on the shower floor. I'm like, dude, what, are you okay? Like, wake up. Are you sleeping? All of a sudden, like, it's just like a few minutes go by and I start to get a little bit worried because he's like not waking up. Then he opens up one eye and just has this like little smile on his face, like, ha ha, just like pretending to be dead on the shower floor. Yeah.
So he was like in the parking lot roaming around. Was he like walking around in a circle, or was he on a quest trying to find his vehicle?
He was trying to find the car.
Just roaming around. But we're supposed to be visiting his family.
He's
like
gonna
his
drive to the
aunt,
liquor store.
His grandma. It's supposed to be like a family time. He's just out in the parking lot, just roaming around. So drunk. It was so bad. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Now, do you guys fart in front of one another?
Yeah.
We actually know people that we had a whole podcast about this.
Yeah.
We know couples that have been together for a long time
and they don't
and
do
have
that.
never released in front of each other.
No.
Are you serious?
Angela farted in front of me like 5 times when I was up there last time.
Oh, I actually farted at the karaoke bar and you walked right in it. And it was so funny because I actually
It was a freaking cloud. You could not get away from that.
I still have on my phone, like if Woody calls me, it says Woody the fart sniffer. And because like I was at the karaoke bar standing on my side of the table. It's so loud in there you can't even talk to each other. And I just happened to let this fart out and it smelled really bad. And it was like, you can't predict it, right? But I'm like, I see Woody walk over to me and stand beside me. And then he makes eye contact with me, most disgusting face. And he's like, walks all the way around to the other side of the table. And I'm just losing it laughing because that's the way I am. I'm like, if somebody, I love to see people's reactions when something like that happens to them. So it just almost makes me hit the floor laughing. And I mean, she can contest to that. She'll be yelling at me and everything, and I'll just be laughing. So, but that's yeah.
No, we have no problem farting in front of each other.
She gets a Dutch oven every night.
And I told her,
Oh.
yeah, you would die.
God, when we were out there in California, we had to get up really early, like super duper early Sunday morning.
Oh my God.
We had to get up at like 2:00 in the morning, and we didn't get back into our hotel room probably like a little after 10:30. So here I'm like trying to wake his ass up. I'm like, John, get up. You have to get up. And next thing you know, he like has these 2 farts that come out, and I am just standing there, and next thing you know, I'm like so mortified. I start gagging, and I thought I was gonna throw up.
I'm proud of that.
I'm just like
I'm
damn it, you
proud of that.
fucker, get your ass up and get dressed. We gotta go.
I think she needed to wake up, But the
No.
oddest thing is, I can tell her about it, and she'll still move towards me. So I'm convinced that she kind of likes it.
No, I don't.
No, I'm convinced that you
No.
may like it a
No,
little.
I do not like it, John. I do not like your fart.
I have my suspicions about this.
I am cool, like, if you fart and it doesn't stink, like, that
How
is
can you
awesome.
predict if your fart's
But
going to stink or not? You have
You
no
just
idea
know.
until
Yes, you do.
until it comes. You can. How are you going to predict before?
Like your stomach, it hurts really bad, and you know that you're gonna have to like go take a poop.
Mine don't do
And
that.
then
Mine don't do
and then
that.
if you know if it's gonna come out warm or hot, you know.
Well,
that
that's all on the way out. There's no reversing it
But
at that
then
point.
you're supposed to warn me then at that time.
Oh, well, sometimes it's just funny though.
No, it's not.
This is how we roll in this podcast, Amanda.
You ever like, you need to go check yourself. Like, you need to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Everybody's had that.
I know.
Hey, the shit yourself story. I'm good 2 or 3 times a year.
I sharted.
In all honesty, I've only shit myself one time.
Sharte.
Shart doesn't count as shitting yourself. But I remember to this day, I was trying to ride my bike home when I was a kid, and I shit myself riding my bike. And I was looking for my friends all day, and as soon as I shit myself, they came out of the woodworks. People jumping out of their front door, John, come here. I'm like, no, I got to get home, And people like follow me on their bikes and stuff like that. John, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, get the fuck away from me, And,
I pooped myself.
hey, Amanda, I'll tell you something, like a funny story. And this is why I wanted to ask if Woody ever sets you up, right? When she was pregnant, we were in a Walmart in the hunting section.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 or 6 guys around
I
us.
was
So
probably
she's
like 7 months pregnant.
She's
I'm
7 months
thinking.
pregnant. There's 5 or 6 guys in the hunting aisle beside us, and we're looking at stuff. And I just ripped the loudest fart in there. Everybody heard it. And she puts her finger in her mouth and backs away and looks
That's
at me.
not nice.
And I look right at her and I said, honey, I'm glad you backed away from me before you shit on me.
That's not nice.
And all the dudes around there like looked right at her. And she turned around and like took off and bolted out of the aisle. And I come running up like, wasn't that funny? Wasn't that funny?
No.
And she's like, let's get out of here. Get out of here now. And so I was a master at penning it on her.
Yeah.
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 Glad you backed away from me before you shit on me.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious, though.
Oh, man.
We're going to create some new memories here for the Dents for
Well,
Kids charity.
hey, I'll give you another little funny story.
Let's
for
hear
ya.
it.
On our honeymoon, we actually honeymooned to Vegas. We were on a tight budget. we couldn't go anywhere like exotic. We were poor folk. We went to Vegas and we decided to go do a hypnotist show.
A hypnotist
And
show.
it was like in a small little room, very intimate. Yes. And Woody decides to volunteer to be part of the show. So he's up there. Well, it gets a little freaky. It gets, it's Vegas. They're up there. The man is hypnotizing them, and everyone up on the stage is like doing their best strip tease. They're doing their best porno video shoot. Like they're just working it, and he's so into the whole thing. Like he is.
I actually got a deal at the end of it.
He's up there grinding on the stage, like he's just it's a crazy. They bring out the blow up dolls, and they're like making moves on the blow up dolls. He's like so into it. I have the video actually. I still have the video.
Oh.
And so at the end of the show, he's like, he's like, I'm going to leave you all with a little something special. If you have a significant other up here on the stage, you're really going to appreciate this. He's like, I'm actually hypnotizing them all right now so that after I snap my fingers, whenever they receive a handshake for the next hour, they will receive the best orgasm of their life.
Oh.
He snaps his hand, but they didn't the people up on the stage didn't know this. And so they're all coming down off the stage, and people go to like say, "Hey man, great job up there," and go to like shake his hand. And he must have like jumped a mile, and I'm telling you, like he like jumped so high off the ground after somebody touched his hand. He was freaked out.
It was all acting.
It was not acting. It was like, that was so funny.
Like Woody, did
so
you?
Like,
Yeah. Did you feel like you really went under, Woody? Did you feel like you were under this man's control?
No, it was hilarious because I was just sitting there, just watching everything happen and just laughing as I was sitting up there.
He tries to tell me he wasn't really hypnotized. I'm telling you, he was hypnotized. He really was.
So he was going full on with that.
You don't want to admit it. I'll bring the video up.
Yeah, we have to see that video.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll bring the video.
That's freaking crazy, man. Love it. So I've only been hypnotized once. It was pretty cool, though. It was actually pretty cool. They and actually I read like a science book that said that's the only true way that somebody can tap into your subconscious is when they like get you down, like your brain down to that level where you're like half asleep and half awake, where you're actually tapping into the subconscious that's actually carries most of your habits and stuff like that. I mean, that's why they talk about, hypnotists being able to break like cigarette addiction and stuff like that, is because they need to get into the subconscious to break a habit. And man, I had a really cool session. It was cool. I did it one time.
Well, sounds like Woody had like a.
Actually, believe it or
time.
not, you guys are gonna. I mean, and this is dead honesty, dude. I went there and I told the lady. I said, I want you to, because I felt that I was doing things that were successful, right? I was like, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I still had old habits that was like the technician side of me. You know what I mean? Where like these old habits that I was like just doing stuff instead of thinking bigger and moving my life into like a bigger direction. So I told her I had a problem with that. I was like, I want myself to think bigger and better. I want to get rid of any of these, limiting beliefs that I have about me being able to, conquer the fucking world with everything that I do. So I actually did a success one where she sat me back and she said, you know what I mean? Like stripped any kind of like a limitation. I told her my limitations, like things that I was, that I knew was holding me back because they were habits. You know what I mean? And came out of it, felt amazing. And I mean, it was probably a couple years ago. And I would say, honestly, over that 2-year time, I mean, I've covered leaps and bounds over that time. Now, was it full on the meditation or the hypnotizing? I don't 100% know that, but I do know that the moment that I got out of there, it like basically took me to the next level.
Wow.
So, and she said that she has never done that. She worked with people who had smoking addictions and stuff like that. And she was like stoked about it. She was like, that's like the coolest idea ever, to try to get rid of any kind of limiting habit, because the truth is that's what holds us back. If we don't have good habits. I mean, if you talk to, we had Tom Ziegler on our podcast, and I said, if you used to tell people like one thing you were to teach people that like if they could change to make them successful, he was like, replace your bad habits with good ones. That's it. Mm-hmm. The only difference from somebody who, the only difference from somebody who's like not being as successful as they can to a successful person is they have different habits, and you know what I mean. I believe that.
Yes, you do.
No, that's true.
Honest.
Figure out what's holding you back. And, yeah. Cool.
Yep. So I'm gonna go in next time. I'm gonna ask her what's holding me back from becoming a billionaire, and
he's want to make that cheddar.
Yeah.
What's that cheddar?
I'll be the first crazy tattooed looking billionaire ever.
Yeah, a cheddar.
Who didn't graduate high school?
You got your GED though.
I got my GED.
Yeah.
They sent me a letter to go to my GED class reunion.
Counts. Okay, John, still counts.
Yeah, they sent me a letter to go to my GED class reunion. Like literally these 80 guys that I met in the middle of downtown Dayton for one day. You know what I mean? I was thinking about going too. I'd be like, hey, dude.
That'd be amazing.
I think I was sitting.
Did you walk together too?
Yeah, I was like, I think I was sitting down, alongside you, man. Are you the person I cheated off of? Oh, you're the dude I cheated off of, man. That is awesome. Like all that hard work you did, like really helped me out. So. Yeah, but if I ever do become a billionaire, I am going to go to my GED class reunion, and I'm going to fly there in a helicopter.
Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna
imagine the headline on the news: GED class reunion. Man flies there in his helicopter.
And then you jump out and go down on a rope or something.
I'm going to do it like James Franco on Why Him.
Oh, have you guys seen that movie?
I'm just going to land it right on the... Have you guys seen that? Why Him? Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
You guys would lose it, man.
Good movies.
That's like one of the funniest movies of all time, dude.
It is.
You need to watch it.
Yes.
So...
Huh?
It's called
Why
Why Him with James Franco.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I actually fell asleep before the ending.
He's such
Oh,
a
did you?
liar.
Did you see it when the moose busted through the thing and then
It's a
balls
video
landed up on
game
that kid's...
guy, right?
Yeah. Well, right on, y'all. So, them are some amazing, cool stories. And why don't you tell us where we can find your tools, where we could find your logo designs and stuff like that. So that way anybody who might be interested, I know you're probably a little bit busy on the logo end of things, but give us the domain names for your tool companies, all that stuff, so anybody might want to check it out.
Yeah, hit us up. You can hit us up on Facebook anytime if you do need design work, maybe sometime in the future when things kind of slow down. But we are at deadondenttools.com and obviously all over Facebook and whatnot. So yeah, hit us up and check out our products. We would appreciate that. Thanks for having us on, guys. It's been fun.
You're so welcome.
We love you guys.
It's been good. You're much more animated than Woody on the podcast. Remember how nervous you were, Woody, on PDR Tool Time? It was like to get him to talk. It was like we were pulling teeth. He was like when he got in there, he's like.
I had to drive to a different location, so I tried to drink when I was there.
He has to drink a lot. I have to drink too, but he's uptight. But he's just an asshole,
and I mean,
right?
plus they were talking about stuff I really didn't care about too. So
you would ask you would ask Woody something about his tools. He'd be like, "Yeah, they're good."
It's her business. It's her business, so you had to ask her.
People like to use them, and I don't know what to do with my hands, guys. Is this where I keep them? Is this one go here? Do I keep them right here? Like, Woody, this is not video recorded, man. Do whatever you want with your hands. Well, hey, wait, don't do that. Don't do that, Woody. No. We need restrictions here. Turn his video off.
Yeah, if it's something like serious,
I hate serious.
He hates serious. He's like, I just want to be an asshole to people. So can we do that?
I don't like serious stuff either.
I don't like it either.
Like I normally break up serious shit. Like I was in a mastermind group with like 5 or 6 really serious dudes, and when they brought me in, like shit dramatically changed. Like it got to the point where we were just like, it was like a party every time we met. Because I'm like, man, I ain't going to do this bullshit where you sit there and you're like, okay, well, now you speak, sir. Well, how are your end of the month ratios? And let's go ahead. I'm like, man, screw that. You know what I mean? What y'all do last night? And I mean, it just sucks, doesn't it, when people get all serious and stiff on you?
I know. Yes.
That was your local BNI group, wasn't it?
Nah, actually, no. It was a private mastermind that I attended for a couple years. So believe it or not, we had a guy who.
So you're getting all serious.
Well, no, we had Tom Ziegler's lead business coach is a good friend of mine, so he actually started it. And then we had a financial guy who owns a financial firm here in Dayton, one of the bigger private financial firms, and he was part of it too. And then we had the lady that I told you is like the CFO. She was actually part of it. And then a business coach dude was actually a part of it. And then what we would do is we would have guests that we brought in through, the TV and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It sounds
So
serious.
why is Angela all out of focus and you're in focus? Did you plan that?
I don't know. I look like it just.
She likes to cover her face up with the mic too. You notice that? You see how you can see nothing? It's like Wilson on.
Home Improvement.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, because obviously you're not seeing what we're seeing, we see John and Angela, and like John is kind of front and center there a little bit, like, hey, we see her, and then Angela is
tucked back in the corner.
I wanted to sit. I wanted to be in his spot, and he didn't want to trade me spots.
No, you sat here, and you're like, oh, that doesn't make me
look. Now you know
look.
the reason why.
I think he doesn't want Woody to see how beautiful you are right now.
Because I know Woody's looking at me.
John just wanted to look into my eyes.
Yeah. Yes, that is true.
Oh, man.
He'll
That's
definitely
awesome, guys.
keep you warm when you're here in Ohio. So you don't have to worry about freezing, Woody.
Yeah.
All that taco meat.
We should have brought home the moonshine that we had. I left it with Mike though, but we had moonshine given to us out in San Diego.
Oh,
so
that stuff was some good.
A local tech, the guy who makes like an umbrella thing, not Ian, but there's like another guy. He brought us this moonshine, and man, that stuff. As soon as you took a little tiny shot of that stuff, you'd feel your whole body heat up.
Be nice and warm. You're nice and warm and toasty.
Yeah. So I was going around making people take shots of it, and then there was this dude, Patrick, there. And it was so funny because they had this big sausage fest in the hot tub. We show up there, and it's nothing but dudes in the hot tub. Daniel Grom, and Patrick, and then Vince rises out of the middle. Like, no, they tried to get me, and I'm like, dude, I mean, look, have you ever seen,
Vince has got a snorkel on.
Do you ever remember when people would boil hot dogs to cook them? Like, they'd get like a pan, and they filled up with water and boil, and they cook hot dogs in there.
Yeah,
and there'd be like 5 or 6 hot dogs.
When I was a kid.
5 or 6 wieners floating around, dude. That's what it felt like. It was like a bunch of boiling wieners in there. And so they're like, you want any of that? I'm like, oh, man, I don't think so. I'm good,
Woody would have been in heaven. That's Woody's heaven right there.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So I was trying to convince everybody to drink the moonshine. And Patrick has this one patch of hair in the middle of his chest, man. And I was like, see, he drank the moonshine earlier. He didn't have that patch of hair, and it just sprung up. I was like, it'll put hair in your chest. And I'm like, well, Daniel, fuck that. You don't need any of that, right? I'm like, maybe it'll decrease your hair. I don't know. And
fall off.
Yeah, and then that's our whole last podcast was about it. We found out Vince had a tramp stamp. And, yeah, it was...
He does?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one.
Dude.
Is it a unicorn?
It's like one of them tattoos you can't even tell what it is, and then he said what it was, and I'm like...
But he rocks it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he went to my tattoo place and tried to get a cover-up, they'd end up talking him into doing his whole back. I can't even tell you how many people... And hey, did you guys know Paul Corden has a tattoo?
No.
And you guys both got all like,
The look on your guys' faces, that was funny.
Yeah. I'm going to, when we release his pictures, I'm going to zoom up on it, and I'm going to release it, and I'm going to put, nobody ever knew that Corden was a rebel. He's got one tattoo on his ankle, and I seen it, and I was.
Is his mom's name or?
Actually, it has a sweet story, so I couldn't knock on it that bad. So him and his wife, when they got married, they got these like either Chinese or Japanese letter things, and they meant something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always sketchy about them Chinese Japanese letter things because I got some on the inside of my arm. You can see that right there. I have no idea what it says.
I thought it was supposed to be your
It probably
initials or
says like
something
cream
like
of
that.
some young guy.
I love pig.
Oh, hey, I got that. Hey, Woody, when we were at the restaurant, I actually got our waitress to go ask the chef if they had cream of some young guy. So we're sitting around the table, and I'm like, you guys have cream of some young guy? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you need to go ask the chef.
She's like, I'll be right back.
And she went back to the kitchen, and everybody lost it. The whole table heard. Everybody in there heard it. Yeah. So
good times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so bad. Every time you walk into the Chinese restaurants around here, I'm convinced they're talking shit about you in their language. Because you walk in there like, and then they all laugh like, and I'm like, oh, fuck are these guys saying, man?
Yeah. No. I don't know what's worse though, the nail salons, because I swear I got a pedicure the other week, And then one lady, she was like speaking to the other lady, and then she looks up and she tells this woman who's getting a pedicure, "You really need your eyebrow done. You have lots of hair, top and bottom." I'm like, damn, like just called her out like, in front of everybody. And then like the woman's like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, and your lip too, really bad.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
she
Oh my gosh.
she probably said break out the.
Damn, this woman just called her out.
Yeah.
She probably said break out the. She probably said break out the weed whacker. We have a Godzilla in here or something like that. Or what? Who was that? Godzilla was the one, but who's the other guy? King Kong or something? King Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, though, like, what are you supposed to tell a woman when you see her? Like, this could be a friend or just somebody that you know, and you're, like, seeing them, and they have, like, a mustache. It's like,
But
what are you supposed to say to
They
them?
know. They have to know.
Nice
Yeah.
mustache.
Women got them super close mirrors. You turn around and you can see everything.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't know.
What? Well, how come they don't do anything about it?
I don't know. Maybe
Like, they got
they're
a
into it.
stash.
I know a dude who was into women with hair.
Oh no, Angela, why do you got a mustache? Are you hiding that behind the mic?
No, I don't have no mustache.
No, I knew a dude who he loved. He was like one of them. He was like one of them real hippie guys, and he loved women that didn't shave their legs and all that stuff, and they were all hairy and all that.
So he
just
liked
loved it.
facial hair too?
Oh yeah, he probably would have loved that too.
I don't know. Like, that just, I think I'm just kind of like, I just don't understand. Like, if a woman has like a mustache, how come she don't do something about that? You know, there's all kind of products. You can bleach it, wax it, you know, stuff like that. Just, you know, because, you know, especially when you get older,
Yeah.
hair just starts popping up in places that it never did before.
I don't even know where this is going.
Experience, Angela.
It just happens. And, you know, it's like, you just got to take care of that. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's just some women out there that just let themselves go, like you said, John. You
Yeah,
know?
I walked into this store one time, and this lady had a full-on beard.
Oh, I wonder if that was like some type of hormone problem or something.
It scared the shit out of me at first. I mean, I turned around, I was like, ah, shit! It's like, hey, don't walk up on me like that and ask me if I need anything.
Oh my
You gotta warn somebody.
Oh, Lord.
And you know what? What I notice is, and you know, I'm just gonna call it out. Okay, I'm gonna call Wendy's out and Burger King, two franchises that literally put the most dog ugly people at the part that are like where they're like messing with your food.
Oh.
I mean, I
I
couldn't.
don't know. I have to shit every time I eat Burger King.
I couldn't even
Like
go.
5 minutes after.
I couldn't even go back to Wendy's, dude. They had like a 55-year-old dude that had all these moles on the side of his face with hairs coming out of him,
Oh.
and he had a tongue ring. He's like 50-some years old. He's got a tongue ring, and the whole time he's licking it through his lips, going. You know, like when people have a tongue ring and they're like tossing it around in their mouth and shit. So here he is handing me my
Trying to
food.
Come on to you, John.
So here he is, probably. I actually, gay guys do try to come on to me, but that's another story. But here he is handing me my food, and I'm like, dude, I just want to go like throw this away right now. Of course I don't, but I'm like, come on, man. You know, like where the
Hopefully you put
dishes,
that
like
special sauce on that for me.
somebody needs to wash the dishes, and somebody needs to be up there at the front counter. You know what I mean? Whoever did that made a mistake.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're always talking shit on this podcast. So,
I
Amanda,
know.
you look concerned. What's going on over there?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
She's going this evening to go see Bad Moms. Is it 2?
Yeah, we might need to wrap it up. No,
Right.
Yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's like it's the Christmas one, right? It's like the Christmas one.
Oh, yeah, we've been on here. This has been an hour-long podcast already.
We're having a good time on a Saturday evening.
All right, guys. No, seriously, we better wrap it up. We don't going to go
All
too
right.
further than an hour. So
Okay.
that actually flew by, though. I can't believe I looked down and seen that it was an hour. So
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to close us out on? Anything else you want to say?
You're looking mighty good on a Saturday night, John.
You're not looking too bad yourself, man, as long as you don't put on them damn G-string shorts you had on earlier.
You don't like Woody's butt cheeks?
No, they're not G-string, but I can bring them.
Oh, wait, you
You
did
guys got a
do
thong.
that at the Mobile Tech Expo. That's right.
It was yellow.
Yeah, I got to tell a real quick story before we close out.
All right.
Woody, literally, we're doing a charity where somebody sits on the thing, you throw the ball out, and they fall in the water. He comes out in a robe and strips down, and he is in a banana hammock.
Yeah. And Jonathan's seen that, remember?
Yeah. Yep. So that's what you guys are missing if you don't come to the Mobile Tech Expo.
You actually asked me where I got it from.
No, he did not.
Wasn't it hanging on your door handle later that night or something like that? And you were staying with Lou?
No, I put it on Ryan Hampton's door.
Oh, there you go. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and close out this podcast.
Yes,
Another
yes.
episode of the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. And what you say, honey?
And it's all about the hustle.
And we'll see you on that next one.
Yes, we will.